Hello. I forgot to press record on the beginning of the session. Sorry. So Safia reminded me. We are now talking about suit 1, acceptance will set you free. So let me just share the screen, play, and let's just go back. So this is the very first suit, and that pattern there is called the Genesis pattern, or the seed of life. And that's where everything begins. So you've got 7 interlocking circles. It starts with the vesica piscis, which is the void, and then you get these 7 interlocking circles going all the way around, and now suddenly you've got the seed of life. So that's
6 circles.
Say again. 6 circles. Sorry, all going around. Good. So then this is the suit, and we were about to do this. This is where you came in, and as I often do, is I group the cards into little groupings that make sense to me. They might not make any sense to you. And acceptance will set you free is the first one, and allow your life to unfold is the second one. And you can't control it all. Let go and trust the process. And Janet has a new joke, and she says, "Does the process know we're trusting it?" Which I think is hilarious. What comes up for you around these 3 cards?
Total surrender.
Yeah, I guess it is. It's about surrender. The surrenders, I guess, I've got another grouping I think the surrender will fit into. But yeah.
That's what it feels like.
Okay.
You allow your life to unfold with that.
Yeah.
Like those dandelions that float away.
Yeah.
So
then yeah, go.
No, I was just going to say, for me, they almost speak to, like, if you think of that energy continuum of the fight, it's about the stuff that you don't like, the stuff that you don't agree with, the stuff that you're not feeling aligned with, the stuff that's creating, tension within yourself. Acceptance, you don't have to like the stuff. You don't have to want the stuff, but you can still accept it. The same with allowing your life to unfold. Your life might be very uncomfortable, might not be what you wanting, what you like. And the same with, letting go. Like, it's quite hard to let go of something that you don't like, or that you do like. Let's say something you do like, you don't want to let go of it. So for me, those 3 cards speak to that as well.
Yeah. I had a client the other day, and this card came up, and she said it really helped her with the decision making. And the dandelions I asked Tan about it. She says you can blow the dandelions, but you have no idea where they're going to land up. But you have to blow the dandelions. Then that's where it starts. So allowing your life to unfold, for me, it seems quite passive, but actually it's about make a decision and then see what happens. Let it unfold. So it's about making the next decision, taking the next step, not taking the right step. It's not about exactly as Anastasia says, they ignore the middle on the continuum, saying, well, I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to sit here, and then the acceptance is also accepting the shadow side, accepting, Safia in the group this week said, there's this client with a nervousness, and so can we accept the nervousness? Can we welcome the nervousness? Can we accept the fear? Can we accept, the overwhelm? Okay, we're overwhelmed now. Can we accept that? Rather than trying to kind of shove it away or fight it. So that's also, like, for me, quite a profound part of the acceptance card is everything serves, which is another card in the suit. Anybody else got anything on these 3?
Yeah, I think I just want to echo what both you and Anastasia are saying. It's like, for me, the suit says, you know, whether you want to or whether you don't want to, things are going to come. You may as well make it welcome.
Yeah.
You may as well render yourself willing, because your curriculum is set for you, and that's the course you're going to, that's the course you're on.
Yeah.
So make it welcome is kind of what I get out of this. And for me, these cards, I don't know where it fits in, but these cards are very tied into there's no right, there's no wrong, because whatever's going to happen is going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
The only thing that you've got is your response, your participation. And this is the energy with which you could participate.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to talk about that in a little bit. So that's those three. So these two I put together, all is exactly the way it's supposed to be. And everything that happens is an opportunity for growth, for your growth. What are you getting from these two, and what makes them different, and what makes them the same?
One of the big ones that comes up for me is, and it comes up in my language as well, but it comes up in clients' language, comes up in everybody's language, is this idea that we need to be fixed because we're broken. And that's a friggin' heavy psychological burden to bear. And I think it lies at the epicenter for me at this whole, I'm not enough. I'm like, I don't walk around every day thinking I'm broken, I need fixing. But I have this compulsion around I'm not enough. As if something I'm going to do is going to fix me enough until I'm enough. So it's almost like that's my starting position on just about everything. So the question that we ask ourselves, and I don't know who said it earlier on, is who am I to, I think it was Teresa who might have said it, who am I to be doing this?
Yeah.
To be doing that?
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Yeah. And the answer is nobody, but I'm going to do it anyway. Who am I? I'm nobody, but I'm going to do it anyway, because leadership is about doing something. So, I mean, I think for me, you've hit the nail on. Go, Safia.
Oh, I was just going to say, so if you could be this neutral about things, everything that happens is an opportunity for growth, and everything is exactly the way it's supposed to be, no one's going to say it's not me. Because you're just going to learn something, right?
Yeah.
There are no judgments about it. Nothing. You're just going to do it. You're going to be in self. Yeah.
That makes sense. So the exactly as it's supposed to be is about being broken, right? So there's a broken plate there. And I can never remember the name of this, but it's the Japanese art of filling in the cracks with gold. It's kishiguri or something. I can never remember the damn name of it. I don't speak Japanese. And it is about the crack is where the light gets in. You know, Computershare ran an employee survey, and they got a hell of a lot of negative comments. And they got a script, you know, oh my God, we're getting all this negative stuff. And Tan says, the crack is where the light gets in. There's a crack. You think this is a crack, but it's not. There's the light. Look at all the light coming in, all of these comments. So there is an element of what do you think of as broken? And what is the light that is coming in as a consequence? It's a little bit like what I said to that client yesterday. She said, I'm a very private person. I don't share very much. I say, look at you sharing. You think you're broken, but here you are with all this light coming in. And then the opportunity for your growth, I mean, it's an old Buddhist metaphor of the lotus flower. And the lotus flowers, they grow in the mud. And so there's this beauty coming out of the mud. And so the idea here is look at the mud. And again, it's this acceptance of shadow, right? It's the acceptance of the mess. The big danger with these cards is that, and it goes for almost all the cards, is that there's an opportunity for toxic positivity. You know, there's an opportunity, the client could read this and then there's an opportunity for bypassing. Oh, it happened, but it's an opportunity for growth. You know, so that's always a danger, especially when the clients take it on board and they can. I had a client, another client yesterday was very like toxic positivity all over the place, bypassing any negative emotion. And this is the kind of stuff that she kind of trots out, you know. Let's see, what was the next grouping? Here you go. What happens in the small happens in the big. I'm paraphrasing it because that's how I always talk about it. And then everything serves. So what comes up for you around these two together, if anything?
I think for me, it's pay attention to this, to all parts, or to everything that's going on. Because sometimes we glance over a comment or an incident or a thought, and that could actually be the thing that opens up the awareness around something.
Okay, thank you. Be aware of everything because it might open an awareness. Was it you, Anastasia, who went?
Me.
Okay.
I think one of the things that's coming up for me as I'm looking at the card is we actually don't know what is big, what is small. We will only ever know in retrospect what is big and what is small. We make a big hoo-ha about, use an example, buying a house or buying a car because it's a big thing. But maybe buying the skipping rope is like the biggest thing that you've ever done in your life because it sets you on a new path or something like that. We really don't know at any given moment in time what is big, what is small. And in terms of the choices that we make, we only have a slice of the picture that we're working with. There's a level of acceptance and welcoming that is needed to truly appreciate that everything that you're doing has got some consequence where you don't know what it is.
Mm.
And so you have to take responsibility for it.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, there's the accept bit, right? Yeah, when I was talking to Taryn about the card, sorry, go, Safia.
I'm thinking about like something as simple as flossing your teeth. Like I once, long ago, a million lifetimes ago, I went to the dentist and I was traveling by taxi and the taxi driver asked me, where are you going? And I said, I'm going to the dentist. And he says to me, yeah, you must look after your teeth because your teeth are your health. Your teeth is your health. Now, I come from Cape Town. A lot of people don't have their front teeth. Well, they don't have any teeth, right? And as a result of not having teeth, their digestive problems are extraordinary. And so, yeah, you flush your teeth, you floss your teeth, you brush your teeth, small thing. But the downstream impact is just enormous.
Mm.
But we don't know in the moment, and we don't value that moment.
Mm. No, I guess not. For me, this card is also a lot about pattern detection. How you do one thing is how you do everything. So, I mean, we had a triad the other day, and the pattern for the client was black and white thinking. And Safia listened to the feedback and listened to the benchmark and listened to the debrief, and then very quietly said, I notice you're only wearing two colors. And the client just laughed. Because that's how she does everything. Everything is either black or white. It's either one or the other. It's up or down, yes or no. So what happens, how you do one thing is how you do everything. You know, I mean, we see this over and over and over again with the coaching. That's what pattern detection is about. Can I notice the smallest thing the client is doing and then make a guess about how they live their life? Because that's how they live their life. I don't know if somebody wants to say something about that.
I'm like, we just coached with Anastasia, and it's not like the pattern is living out only in one itsy bitsy teensy weensy part of her experience. It's pervasive, and there are very distinct triggers that gets that pattern into touch. And so there's these three scenarios. It's coaching, it's physio, and it's at home. So there we go. So we had a masterclass on it right now. Thank you, Anastasia.
Pleasure. One of the things that I often think about with these cards is that, you know, sometimes you are holding the one slice or the one piece, or you looking at the one perspective and you just can't see where it fits in. So, I mean, Teresa said, look at the whole thing, but sometimes you don't have the whole thing available to look at. You think you do, but you don't. And like Taryn always says, you know, sometimes you have to wait for that puzzle to literally only have one piece left to put in to fit that last piece. So, you know, sometimes you have the pattern, you can see it playing out. You don't know what it's serving, but you see what it serves at the end. or after a whole lot of other things have been put into place. Or after having considered a whole lot of other perspectives. Somewhere is written, we are fearfully and wonderfully made. Like, I also think our lives are like fearful and wonderful all at the same time because of all this.
Yeah, no, I mean, and in your session, Anastasia, you got a version of that question every 3 minutes, you know? How does this serve? Because the frame by implication is that it's serving something. This pattern or this behavior or this is playing out and it's serving you in some way. You know, Taryn's quite cheeky sometimes. She'll say, oh yeah, it's hard. It's hard to do your admin if you're thinking about your clients the whole time. And let's face it, who wants to do admin? That's a cheeky way of putting it, but that's you know, it's something that's serving. So this is so no, that's absolutely right. Like this puzzle piece, you never know where the damn thing's gonna go. Let's have a look. I think this is the last grouping, I think. Anybody got any thoughts on this? These two. Yes.
I don't like the turn and face anything you are avoiding. Because normally when I get it, I don't even know what I'm avoiding. So like, how am I supposed to face it? And then I spend a whole week going, okay, so let's just look at everything very carefully. What are we avoiding? It's probably right under my nose, but for that moment, I don't know what the hell and why this card shows up. So recently, I've just put it back and taken another one.
Take another card. Well, sometimes we're avoiding our brilliance, Teresa.
I was just going to say that. We're always looking for the the horrible stuff, or the shadow stuff, or the, you know, the thing that will be obvious.
Thanks
But
for the
yeah.
reminder.
Sometimes we're avoiding, you know, we've used this expression before today, like this evening, is counting instead of discounting. Sometimes we're avoiding our own brilliance, our own, you know, like your desire to make a difference. We're avoiding that. And now suddenly this week you've decided you don't want to avoid that anymore. So acceptance is accepting not only the shadow, but also the light. And sometimes it's hard for people to accept the light. You've seen this in yourself, and you've seen this in triads, and you've seen this in the room. Brendan talked about it a bit earlier. You get an award, and it's a kindness award, and somebody says, yeah, I'm nominating you, and it's very, very hard to accept that compliment. It's very, very hard to see yourself like that. Sometimes I'll say to a coach in the triads or the benchmarking, I'll say, what's it like to, it's hard to hear that, isn't it? You're a good coach. It's hard to hear that, isn't it? You know, like when Christina said to Christina, have you ever thought of yourself as a challenging coach? It can be quite confronting. Here's somebody saying you're quite a challenging coach, and Christina's going, okay. And the messiness of life card.
That is a very defeating card.
Tell us about it, Safia.
No, I don't want
to.
to.
Anybody else got some?
Go,
Safia.
Embrace the messiness of life stuff here. So my on my desk card.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, if you've got a pattern, which and we typically have constellations of patterns. It's not just one pattern. We have constellations of these things, all or nothing thinking, need to control, right and wrong, all these kinds of very absolute things. Then this card is a very confronting card. This idea is a very confronting idea. And for me personally, it's this tension that I create for myself on an ongoing basis because of these ideas of black and white, these polarizing kind of patterns. And the reason why I'm predisposed to polarizing patterns is because, you know, that feeling of not being in control is an overwhelming and frightening feeling. And so in my personal example, it can be both physical in my own environment, or it's just the stuff that's happening up here. And what I do is, and I shared this, what I do is I just exit stuff. Like I'm there, but I'm not, because I don't want to deal with messiness.
Yeah.
So this is my week of dealing with messiness.
There's the acceptance, right? So I don't want to deal with messiness. And kind of, you know, you talked about this is your curriculum. It's what you resist persists.
Yes.
The less you want to deal with it, the more it's like trying to ignore a 2-year-old, yeah, or trying to ignore a dog. Like they don't go away. They keep kind of, mommy, 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 mommy. Like you can't ignore them. Yeah, the messiness. Life is messy. You know, if COVID taught us anything, it taught us life is messy. Things don't go according to plan. I'm a big fan of a guy called Leonard Cohen. He's a singer, poet. And I read an interview with him, and he's dead now. And he said, the interviewer asked something about the meaning of life or something, some bullshit. And Leonard Cohen said, it's about living with defeat. And the journalist said, what? He says, our days are just a succession of defeats. This afternoon I got home, and Caroline had ironed all my t-shirts beautifully, except I'm training tomorrow and I don't have a fucking shirt to wear because she hasn't ironed any of my work shirts. You know, I drive to work this morning and there's traffic on the road. Like, it's just defeat after defeat after defeat in a way. So we have these plans and they don't work out just because that's life. And we have to, like, okay, now what we're gonna do. So I don't know. It's not at all. So
I think
yeah.
I think for me, and for what I see in coaching sessions and in the conversations that we have with people is that it's very hard to embrace the messiness of life because we personalize it so deeply.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. I think you're right. Yeah. And then it's hard to accept that, right? if it's personal, it's hard to accept.
I must be fixed thing.
Mm. Yeah, it's that over-identification. So in the few minutes we have left, what has stood out for you during this session? What takeaways or realizations have you had, if any?
I think Sophia gets my Mind Blow Award tonight. Notice the small things, because that's how they live their lives. Is something that I really resonated with. And as I was looking at that Embrace the Messiness of Life, when she spoke about the constellation of patterns, I realized that it's probably the hardest thing for me to embrace the messiness of life, because I have a plan B, A, B, C, D, and E to remove messiness. So give me any form of messiness and I'll clean that paint up. I'll even get it back into the tube if you give me long enough. And so I feel a little bubbling that has suddenly awoken inside of me, because that's exactly like very little evidence of messiness in my life. So she says.
Well,
but no one can see inside my head. But that's quite an interesting.
So maybe
I feel like I'm going to reflect on that one for a while.
So maybe that's what you should turn and face what you're avoiding. You're avoiding the messiness.
Totally.
So there's that, everything serves. How does it serve? Thank you, Teresa.
I feel like I've just walked through that whole deck into messiness.
Awesome. Look, I don't choose the cards. The cards choose me,
Yeah.
Right. Who else got something out of tonight that's been helpful or useful?
I think for me, it was Teresa's comment about me being quite a challenging coach. It's quite a realization for me. I didn't realize that at all. So that's what I'm going to sit and ponder.
Yeah, you don't shy away from asking a question that might come across challenging.
Yeah. I had a boss.
You're happy to. Oh, yeah? Tell us.
I had a boss once who said to me, he said, "You're perfect for this position because you say it like it is. You don't pull any punches. And I often wondered where that person had gone. So it's quite comforting to know that she's coming back. So, but in a nicer way, obviously.
For sure. So what he's talking about is truth telling, but in a quite a, it's the honest, the brutal truth. Tell me the honest truth, give me the brutal facts. But, where's the kind truth? Where's, what it's, I call it fiercely compassionate, Thank you, Christina. Who else got something out of tonight? Anastasia, Safia.
As a coach, I learned something when Anastasia asked the question, so why didn't I say that to her in the coaching? Why didn't I ask her about it in the coaching? I was like, where were you? Where were you? I was asking the question, where were you? So I found that to be like a bit of a roadblock moment. I don't know what to make of it yet, but sure that means something else for how you share your patterns, or you reflect your patterns back, or how I reflect the patterns back in a coaching session. And then the other thing that I take out is just this freaking cards, man. They're annoying.
When you say roadblock moment, what did you mean by that?
I think, when you come to certain road things, then there's this chevron with a yellow and all that kind of thing. Like literally is what came up in my mind. She's like, so what if I asked it? And I'm like, but I asked it. So I made a chevron now. I'm like, why didn't she hear? Like, what did I do that made that she didn't hear? Or was it just because it's a short period of time? Or like, how did I not even detect that she hadn't heard it? Because it was in my reflection back to her and in my question. So I need to go and figure something out.
Yeah.
Sorry, Safia, but I just had like a reflection now that I was maybe still where, because you came after Christina, right?
Yeah.
And Christina disrupted me quite a lot. And like, I think I was still in the emotion of the initial disruption with Christina. I don't think I'd actually moved past that.
Yeah, and that's something to learn from the chevron moment. So.
Mm. No, I'm with Safia on this one. Like I think I tend to move too quickly. Like sometimes it's the client is going through shit and I think they're finished processing, but they're long not finished processing. Mm. So yeah. But well done, Christina.
Yeah.
Go, Safia.
No, but it also says something about so I come on for the coaching, and because I'm like, me? So then I'm like, now I got to start coaching. Whereas I should just have sat still. Right?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, that's maybe.
I should have asked.
Yeah, you're right. Like
I should have asked, like, do you need a moment? There's a bunch of things, probably a truckload of evidence on Anastasia's face that she have said to me, shut up. But instead, my need to perform trumped what was happening for the client.
Yeah, beautiful. Sure, what a beautiful realization. Like the clock starts, you think, right, we better start coaching now. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So thank you so much. So I'll tell you what I learned, because Safia will ask me if I don't. Or Teresa, one of you two. I think, that question where Safia said, in this rumination, where does it manifest physically? That reminded me again of how to bypass that self-coaching and the intellect. Recently we've been having these triads, and the thing that's come up is the clients don't need our help to think things through, really. They can think things through for themselves. What they can't do is feel things through for themselves. For that, they need a coach. And so if you look at Anastasia, when Anastasia's thinking things through, that's easy for Anastasia, for all of us. We can talk through it. We can unpack stuff. It's quite nice to do it in front of a coach, but we don't really need to coach. But when we're in the processing, in the feeling, then we're lost. Then we're lost. Then we need that coach to hold that space and ask the questions to help us move through those feelings. We can think things through for ourselves, but we can't feel things through for ourselves. And I guess that's why our style of coaching is always about the emotion. It's always about trying to access those emotions, because that's where we are valuable, just by holding that space. So that's when Safia asked that question, then I thought that's really it reminded me of that. But I mean, I've learned so much from everyone tonight, you know. And it's just such a joy to watch such skillful coaching, you know, it's always such a joy. And then I want to say it's our last session for the year. And next year, there will be other coaches on the call. Anastasia knows them. She's been with them all year. Safia
Eric,
knows
I
them
don't think
because
Anastasia shared.
Oh, she hasn't. Anastasia, what have you learned about being a coach? Sorry, how rude. Thank you, Teresa.
What have I learned about being a coach? I think definitely the one thing I've learned is that there must be a little bit more pause, especially when there's disruption. I definitely think I definitely moved too fast. And just noticing my own experience today, and to your point, Eric, you know, and to Safia's question, you know, where is it in the body? Like me not even being able to like even remember, you know, just really highlights and shows the difference between the, you know, being just in this one body, in the mental body, only being in a certain type of perspective and actually not being connected. But besides that, I think the other thing that I've really realized is that, you know, there are some wounds that they are so deep, you know, this not good enough wound. Yeah, it's just amazing. It doesn't matter how much growth you have, and I mean, I've changed like significantly. I am showing myself like so much love, blah blah blah, doing so many things, blah blah blah, blah 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 blah. Just, you know, and like I still don't feel good enough. Fuck, those wounds they're sore, eh? They're deep. Yeah, and then just, you know, jumping to that last card, the mess, you know, embrace the messiness of life. What came up for me just in the last moment was I was thinking to myself, you know, when we're growing up as children, we don't get taught to embrace the messiness. Constantly being taught how to bring order, how to do the right thing, so like, you know, that pattern of like how it must be, the expectation pattern. I mean, we've been practicing it and we've had people that have been training us, you know, our parents, our community, our teachers, our friends, our siblings, So like,
Yeah.
we've never known how to embrace the messiness of life. Now we must suddenly figure it out now. Anyway, that's my takeaway from tonight.
Thank you, Anastasia.
And Stacey, you're going to run the messy masterclass.
Look, I know how to get messy. Yeah, in the body.
It's about the embracing that's a tough one.
Yeah.
So next year, this is our last one for the year, and next year we'll have different coaches on the call. And we're having that end of year party. We'll start doing end of year parties now. Going forward, we'll have to schedule next year's. I've done the calendar for next year. So this year, end of year party is on the 15th of December. It's a Friday. And if you are in town, it'd be great if you could come. We're going to take a cafe, and they've got a paid cafe. So then it's up to us to welcome the new Lightwalker coaches. I might say a few words, Taryn might say a few words, but it's up to us really to just get to know each other and connect and build some relationships and welcome them into the community. And then what will happen is we'll collapse the 2023 coaching group, WhatsApp group, into the Lightwalker coaching group, because we're all Lightwalker coaches at that point. And then we'll create a new WhatsApp group for the new cohort as they come in next year. So that'll be a bit daunting and a bit exciting and a bit weird. And that's going to be the messiness of life from next year. And I also want to say it's been such a pleasure and a privilege to be with you through all of these CPD sessions. It's been a lot of fun preparing them and learning about the cards and learning about coaching from everyone. And I just want to say thank you for trusting me with this. It's been a real honor. And I'll be continuing them next year. And and we'll be seeing you, some of you at least, at the graduation, and perhaps some of you at the dinner. And if all else fails, we'll see you at the benchmarking training in February. I'll send out the date in the next couple of days, I guess. But if I don't see you, have a happy Christmas. And I'll see you on the WhatsApp group, if nothing else. But thank you once again for being such wonderful human beings.
Vision still?
We've got one
Say
more
again?
supervision, Eric.
What's
We've got
supervision
one more
for?
supervision.
Oh, we've got the supervision. We've got the last supervision. You're absolutely right. I'm saying goodbye prematurely. Bye. I'll see you at supervision. Sorry, did I cause a panic attack there? Okay, well, I'll see you at the supervision in November.
Thank you.
Have a lovely, lovely, lovely evening, guys. Thank you for being here.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank
Bye.
you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.